Hey there, everybody. Pete here from Comic Book Users. Welcome to another edition of the show. And I got my co-host, as always, sitting in the driver's seat.
Wild Bill the Unknown Comic. Hello again, comic book fans. Welcome back to another episode of Comic Book Users. One for the DC fans exclusively. We're going to do the Swamp Thing. There you go. Len Wein, writer, and
Bernie Wrightson. Yeah.
Bernie Wrightson. Bernie was on the first 10 issues. This is issue 7. Great. My first, only Swamp Thing in my collection for a long, long time.
He only bought it because it had Batman on it.
I didn't even buy it. This came from my friend Joe.
Ah, there you go.
Me, like, his collection.
That's a great one to have.
Yeah.
Great one to have. So, of course, this character created in 1971 by both Len and Bernie. And apparently, from what I was reading, that Len was on a subway in New York City, and he thought about doing some kind of swamp creature, a swamp thing. There you have it, right? So here I've got the Dark Genesis little trade publication here, graphic novel, whatever you call it. This has the first 10 issues, including that one that Bill just showed. So this is the original run of 10 issues with Len and Bernie working together. Fantastic stuff. I mean, offbeat, yes.
In this particular issue, Batman thinks that he's some kind of derelict, like a villain.
Yeah.
So Batman's on the scene to see what's up. And Batman actually dominates this book.
Yeah.
This is really a Batman comic.
Guest starring the Swamp Thing, right?
Yes, it really is.
Here he's got a little Frankenstein monster there, kind of cool. So basically a little history. So the main character is, of course, Alec Holland, who is like a biochemist, and he kind of came up with this new experiment that would help like all of humanity, and the bad guys always, big business decided that they really weren't liking what he was doing, because of course they wanted, in the swamps of Louisiana, they wanted to build all sorts of stuff, whatever. Anyway, they wound up trying to kill him. He gets thrown into the water with his mysterious new elixir, whatever, and all of a sudden his body becomes one with the swamp, and he turns into the Swamp Thing character, still with a little bit of memory of who he is, Alec Holland, and all that kind of stuff. But of course the character changed quite a bit over the years, started to take on more human qualities, and then more of like supernatural, and he became one with all of nature type of thing. I mean, the Swamp Thing character is really like kind of taken on all sorts of...
Definitely evolved.
Yeah, big time. But, more importantly, I think just a really cool, if you like the kind of the horror and the monster characters in books, you gotta love this stuff. And different than the Marvel's Man-Thing, because I think Marvel's Man-Thing...
He was first, wasn't he?
He was first, not by much, but first by, 2 years or something like that, maybe a year. But,
maybe a year. If he was 71, Man-Thing was 72.
Yeah.
Right? So they're right... But that was what Marvel and DC were doing. Yeah. You got that, I'll come out with something that's just like it.
Right.
Because I think the Man-Thing is almost just like the Swamp Thing.
Right. The only difference, like I was going to say, is
the
that...
spelling?
Obviously the spelling. But the fact that, you knew his thoughts, and that the Swamp Thing spoke and all that kind of stuff, whereas Man-Thing was basically a mute, and just, there was no dialogue.
Yeah, it was all written in third-person narration.
Yeah, exactly. So once... Bernie left the series after issue 10, picked up with, over the next 10 issues, quite a lot of different artists and what have you. That's a great cover, by the way.
I don't know who did the cover, but the artist on the inside is Nestor Redondo.
Redondo, okay.
And I never heard of the guy, but it's still a great cover.
Yeah, it is.
And Len Wein is still writing, but we get the credits on page 2. But a nice start, nice full page to start it off, the story. But I thought the Swamp Thing was a cool character. I don't have a lot. These are the only 2 I have from the 70s. But I started buying more Swamp Things in the 80s, which I assume is volume 2. But I'm not sure how far volume 1 went.
So, starting with issue 20... would begin a nice long run under the helm of, or under the pen, under the writing of Alan Moore, with a handful of artists like Stephen Bissett and John Totleben and some others. I've got all the collections. So this is issue 20 through 20 through 27. Okay. So this is where the Swamp Thing title really kind of took off. So under the leadership of Alan Moore, who just wrote some incredible stories.
So that's still from the 70s?
This, I believe, was
80s.
late 70s into the early 80s, I believe. I don't remember the exact...
So this is before his Killing Joke.
Yes.
Okay.
This is kind of what put Alan Moore on the map, basically.
All right.
And some great artwork, incredible stories. All right, and they really gave the Swamp Thing a lot of personality in these. So I've got a few of these here. So that's volume 1 of the Alan Moore run. Here's volume 2. Okay, and this pulls in issues 28 through 34. All right, and here's also, in these stories is where he kind of falls in love with a woman. Yeah, these are hardcovers, yeah. These are fantastic. A lot of action, a lot of great dialogue, a lot of horror themes, but more importantly, just really complex storylines that, really make you think. Hold on, I just saw Etrigan. All right, so you got the Spectre here. All sorts of other DC characters show up in here. There's the Spectre. It's one of Bill's favorites right there. Also got Etrigan the Demon. There's also the, what is his name again? The guy with the cloak and the top hat. Stranger.
Okay.
Stranger.
The Stranger.
Yep. There's Etrigan the Demon. Okay, and the Stranger. So some really, really good storylines. Here's book 3, and this pulls together.
How long have you had these?
About 10 years, maybe 35 to 42, something like that. Maybe not quite 10 years. Nice. If you haven't read these guys, I highly recommend. Although I'm assuming that most hardcore Swamp Thing fans probably treasure these quite a bit. And Alan Moore would go on to work with, like Bill mentioned before, The Killing Joke.
That's like 87 or 88.
Yeah, as well as Watchmen, okay, as well as V for Vendetta. The guy just did some great stuff. Such a great writer.
I'd have to say my favorite from him is V for Vendetta.
Yeah, and I
love that movie.
Good stuff.
That is a classic story.
And a great story. Very kind of Shakespearean, so to speak. And there's here great artwork in here.
I like when that character spits out like 15 sentences that every word starts with the letter V.
Yeah.
When he's talking to that woman when he saves her.
Yep.
That's a great line. V for Vendetta. V.
Here's book 5. And this includes issues 52 through 56. There is another volume, which I do not have, which I think includes the last 1 or 2 issues written by Alan Moore, as well as some other stuff that came after it. I need to get that. For whatever reason, I just have not tracked that down. But again, here, yeah, I know, right? I need to get on that. So, of course, there's his female human love interest, right?
Yeah, the Swamp Thing's got a girlfriend.
Yeah, I know, right? Very cool. So, and mandatory stuff right here. So now, Alan Moore leaves the series, and of course they start bringing in other writers and other artists. So Bill's got some stuff that came up not too long after.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is volume 2 or this is still considered volume 1.
I think it's still volume 1, I think.
But this is like 1987.
Yeah.
And you don't know who this is grabbing him?
Looks like the Hulk. What is that all about?
It's Solomon Grundy.
Oh, why is he so green?
And it has a 6-part story on the back of Hellblazer.
Oh, John Constantine. Yeah, I was going to say that. It looks just like the
Hulk's.
Hulk's
It's a 6-part story, so this book is worth some money.
Yeah, you got to open it up. I want to see what Mr. Grundy's looking like in there. There's Mr. Constantine. I see that smoldering cigarette. Yeah, so he totally looks like the Hulk with white hair here.
Solomon Grundy.
Yeah.
And
born on a Monday.
And it's Grundy because they use the word Grundy right there. So that's my proof. Here you go. I don't know what they're doing with the split face down here.
Yeah, that's interesting.
He's got a migraine. I don't know. But yeah, again, great artwork.
Yeah.
With the Swamp Thing. This is, like I said, 1987. This is a $1.25 cover price. This one, what is that?
Is it December?
Yeah, December
87.
87. And then, I used to go to a comic shop in my hometown every once in a while, so I would just pick different things. So I wasn't consistent with the Swamp Thing. If I saw a cover that I liked, I'd grab it. This is the best. We've shown this off in the past.
Yeah.
This is just an incredible cover. This is the most awesome Wicked Tree cover comic I own in my collection. This is a keeper.
Well, it was right around this time that the character was like taking all sorts of forms of different types of vegetation and trees and things like that. So
again, with the one with nature connection.
Yeah. And a very strong connection and weird relationship with John Constantine, as you see below.
That is definitely cool, though. The tree, the Swamp Thing's face, it's just awesome.
Yep.
And what's cool is the colors are brown like a tree, not green.
Yeah. And I love the kind of, and I think this was genius too. You got the kind of the light, almost like kind of like sunrise, and then the darker sky up above.
Or dusk.
Or dusk, yeah,
one
exactly.
Or the other, yeah. But what's interesting is there's no leaves on the tree.
No.
There's no green in this cover. But it works. It's a beautiful
And the grass is brown too, so it must be fall or something like that.
Or
right?
still winter.
Yep.
But it might be still winter because he's wearing a coat. But yeah, it's fall. Beautiful cover. This is issue 71. Actually, 70? Yeah, you got 71.
I got 71. So we've shown this before. But another very interesting cover. I love the colors on this cover.
Yeah.
And Swamp Thing looks great too. And then
we both have this one.
72.
72.
Yep.
So
another fantastic cover. I know Bill always talks about how cool his face looks on here.
And this is 1988. And then we both have this one, right? The next issue, 73.
Yep.
Again, I bought these all off the rack from a comic book store back in the late 80s from my hometown.
So this is by Rick Veitch and Alfredo Alcala. And Alfredo also worked with Marvel quite a bit.
This is a great cover. I just had to buy this because of the Red Baron on the cover, which I think is really cool.
But of course, Swamp Thing kind of like a cloud, so his eyes are right, and that's very cool.
Yeah. Very, very unique. And predominantly black and white cover. Yeah.
I like that. That's pretty cool.
And I like the Red Baron. I was always into flight and fighter pilots and stuff like that, so I had to grab that. Special, what was that? 20th anniversary Swamp Thing, issue 125.
Nice.
This is like 1992.
Is he not on the cover there? Where is he? Oh, there he is. I see him. I was like looking for him.
He's in a headlock.
He's in a headlock. What is everyone trying to put Mr. Holland in a headlock here? What is that all about?
And that's pretty much the Swamp Thing. Mike books. What do you have there?
All right, the last one I have, and I never followed this up. I bought the first issue just because when the new 52 came out, I was buying a lot of the #1 issues of all the various titles. So I bought Swamp Thing #1, the new 52, then a little different spin. They gave a new spin on a lot of these classic characters. So here you can see even more. Got all sorts of different flowers and different vegetation growing out of him. That's kind of how this character evolved. But pretty cool. I do want to mention, for those of you who may or may not have seen it, so DC has a new streaming service, their own channel that you can subscribe to. And one of the shows that they have on this channel is Swamp Thing. Of course, it only lasted one season, and they canceled it.
I thought you were going to say Comic Book Geezers.
Not this time, actually, but we've seen various Swamp Thing films and Swamp Thing TV shows over the years.
I think the first one had Adrienne Barbeau.
Yes, then
the second one had
Locklear.
Yes,
yep, and then they had a TV show that ran, I think, Fox or Sci-Fi for a while, which was okay. But the show that just ran on the DC streaming network is fantastic, and they really made it like a horror show. So well done, but then they canceled it after one season. They left it on a cliffhanger and everything. I was like,
well, we're not canceling this episode.
No,
we're
on the
not. Internet for
always.
Now I'd like to. That pretty much wraps up our Swamp Thing episode, but I have to go off on a little bit of a tangent.
He's got a bonus.
Yeah, it's a correction. We're human. We make a lot of mistakes, and it's usually me. But I have to take this time and apologize for Pete making a horrible mistake. A few weeks ago, we showed off this Flash book that I recently acquired, and Pete made a comment to me about how I got an extra bonus with Batman on the cover, and I had said I didn't even realize that was Batman. I didn't think it was Batman because his ears are too short. It's not Batman.
No?
It's not. He's got no ears. He's got no Batman logo on his chest.
So who is that? Is that the what's his face? The cat, whatever the hell his name is, the former boxer. What is his name?
This is the Dark Hand.
The Dark Hand. What the fuck is a Dark Hand?
I don't know. But after because when you mentioned that this was Batman, I hadn't read the issue, and then when I read it, I was like, "There's no fucking Batman here." I knew that wasn't Batman.
It's totally not him. No,
if you go back to that video, we did a recent acquisition title. And we showed this book off. It's about 6 episodes
This is
ago.
an epic fail. Holy
And when
cow.
he says it to me, I'm like, I didn't think it was Batman. I'm holding it, and you can see me sitting here for like 10 seconds looking at it, like, it's puzzled that it's like, I don't see...
Well, I mean...
Anyway, it does look a lot like Batman.
It does from far away, and it does when you're not wearing your glasses.
Correct. And it's even harder when you're wearing shades, but my gut instinct, when I answered him, I'm like, I didn't think it was Batman.
You were shocked. Yeah, you were
I was like, I can't believe it. His ears are too short. And I never thought about looking for the yellow Batman logo on his chest.
Well, but you know what? I mean, as soon as I put my glasses on and I looked at it, I knew it wasn't him.
You said yourself,
but like from here, I mean, I'm like, it's Batman. So between me without wearing my glasses, you with the shades, we got two.
But when I bought it in the store, I didn't have my shades on. But all I focused on was the melting flash.
Right.
But if you look very carefully, this guy is using some kind of disintegrator ray.
Yeah.
Which Batman doesn't have in his arsenal. But I think that's funny as hell.
And none of our viewers even pointed that out either. That's how weird
I had to make this correction.
All right,
so
well, see, it happens. It happens.
We're human, you know, but at least we have the guts to tell you.
Yeah, see, from here without my glasses, I'd swear it's Batman. But
we'll sell it to you like a used car salesman that it's Batman, but it's really not.
So as soon as I put the glasses on, I'm like,
I apologize for Pete's blunder. And back in my college days, we used to have an expression for this, and it goes like this: "You idiots."
Yep.
But anyway, it's all good. And that wraps up our Swamp Thing episode. I'm Wild Bill saying thanks for being here. As always, please subscribe, tell your friends, and we thank you for your comments, and we thank you for your views.
Show off that new shirt you got. Come on, man.
Oh,
there we go.
DC.
Look at that.
I'm not a bragger, you
know.
But yeah,
talking about the Flash now. All of a sudden.
Well, we're doing a DC comics, so we're DC. Show them your DC shirt.
Well, I'm not wearing a DC shirt, but I picked up this cool Galactus and the Silver Surfer shirt.
Very good.
I decided to go against the DC thing.
Because you forgot.
I forgot.
He didn't want to wear my Batman shirt. I would have hooked him up, but it's all right.
Anyway, guys, thanks again. Make sure you subscribe, and we'll see you next week, right?
Take care. Bye-bye.